It's got to be Tim Judge.
All right, in the women's class, the name we always hear is Christy Carlson. However, she's having her problems as of late.
Last weekend was a terrible weekend for Christy Carlson. She did not win a single race, probably the first time that's happened in years. This morning in Moto number 1, Tara Lejo got the whole shot. Christy was all over but could not get around her, so Christy does have her hands full this weekend.
All right, a lot of great competitors in the women's class. With that, let's go down to the line.
Coming down to the line, Michelle Baines, last weekend's final event winner. Be interesting to see what Michelle can do under these conditions. The altitude this weekend is the biggest factor. That is the talk of the town right now.
And the next most frequented subject would have to be this course, Larry. Very tight, not much room for elbow room.
Absolutely. Off the beach, we go into a right-hand sweeper and then immediately into a left-hand sweeper, a little jog, a left, a hard right, into a left-hand sweeper down the back straightaway, another left-hand sweeper, a right over the log jump, and then back down the front straightaway. It is a much tighter course than what the ladies have seen thus far this year.
Very close together. It should keep them in a pretty tight group unless someone takes off with a huge hole shot and runs away with this thing. But we haven't seen that in the past. Don't think we'll see it today, but you never know. And they're off. It looks like we have a clean start. Who is coming out of the front? Looks like Melinda McLaughlin on boat 11.
It is Melinda McLaughlin with the hole shot. Christy Carlson. Oh, Christy has a little bobble there. And Michelle Baines is going to try and sweep around the outside.
As they come around that first set of buoys, it's Melinda McLaughlin on boat 11 leading the charge. Michelle Baines right on her heels. And Christy Carlson fighting her way back up in the pack as they start this first lap. She looks very good. Again, Larry, she's got the clean water, so this is where she's going to get her lead.
That's right. You want to take advantage of that smooth water on the first lap. Try and stretch the lead out before things start getting chopped up.
Another thing with this altitude is fatigue. Now, with a higher altitude, your body tends to tire faster. We'll see how good of condition these women are in as the race progresses. Michelle Baines, last week's winner, in second place on the PJS. But our current leader, Melinda McLaughlin, the Oregonian, looking very strong and a clear course ahead of her. She comes around and gets ready to take that green flag, and this has got to be a good position for her.
It is indeed. Out in front is a tremendous advantage. Melinda, with not a lot of experience under her belt, I believe this is her second year as a pro, and the first year pro, Michelle Baines holding in that second place position. Christy Carlson, of course, the seasoned veteran, in third. It's going to be a great race.
Michelle Baines showing no signs that last week was a fluke, riding very strong. And I think both of these women know that Christy Carlson is back there and she is capable of catching up to him, but right now they have to concentrate on their race.
Absolutely right. That is the key right now, is to focus on what is in front of you, not be concerned with someone like Christy Carlson behind you. Of course, someone of Christy Carlson's caliber behind you, that's hard to forget.
So our leader, Melinda McLaughlin, followed by Baines, Carlson, Orton, and Ashley Hollenbeck, and we will have more racing on Prime when we come back. Welcome back to Denver, Colorado. Stop number 3 on the Budweiser Watercraft Series, West Coast Nationals. Todd Harris along with Larry Rippenkroger, and we are well into the Prime Cup Women's Final. Larry, so far, a surprise leader.
It is a surprise leader, but Christy Carlson now starting to make a move for that second position. And Christy, I don't think she's the type of person that's going to wait this thing out. She's going to try and force the issue and trying to make the pass early in the race.
The longer she waits, the more lap riders. We've got some action right here. Looks like Michelle Baines trying to make a move on Melinda McLaughlin.
It looks like Michelle Baines is reacting to the pressure put on by Christy Carlson behind her. Now Michelle's trying to take over the lead.
And here we go. Christy Carlson wasting no time, picking up on the outside of Michelle Baines. Now she tries to track down Melinda McLaughlin. Does she have enough horsepower to get around her? Sets her up on the outside. Just barely gets to the side, but not on this turn.
Melinda bobbles, though. Now Christy's got the momentum, going to try and sweep around the outside. She's actually got her set up. She's going for the outside pass here. Oh, and Melinda bobbles. That's going to do it. I think Christy's going to take advantage.
All right, Christy Carlson with the extra horsepower needed on that 750 Butch's Kawasaki looks very strong. Sets her up on the inside out. One mistake by Melinda McLaughlin. That's all that someone with the caliber of Christy Carlson needs. Here are our current standings. Christy Carlson leads, followed by Melinda McLaughlin, Michelle Baines, Jill Orton, and Ashley Hollenbeck. So it didn't take long, Larry. Like you said, she was going to wait that much longer, and she didn't. That lap, she takes first and second place and pushes those two riders back.
I think after the weekend Christy had last weekend, she was not going to wait this thing out. She's going to try and get this over with as soon as possible and relieve any doubts in anybody's minds that maybe she's slipping.
We get a good look at Christy Carlson, the world and national champion on the backstretch. There's Melinda McLaughlin currently running in second place. as she is having a hard time negotiating this whitewater as Michelle Baines gets set to try to take her, moving to second place, Larry.
Michelle Baines going around the outside. Now she's on the inside. That's a good move. Perfect setup. Up over the log jump. That's a nice pass.
Melinda McLaughlin having a few problems on the log jam as two more riders go past her, and she is having all kinds of problems, Larry. It could be psychological. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes when you get rattled like that, you lose your focus, and the next thing you know, you drop 2 or 3, 4 positions all at once.
Well, nonetheless, the fans are getting a great show here today. It looked like Christy Carlson's problems were going to continue, but not today, as we get a good shot at Jill Orton in third place. She was one of the riders who passed Melinda McLaughlin after that log jam bobble. Now she looks like she's going to go after Christy Carlson, but here are our standings. Christy Carlson, Michelle Baines, Jill Orton, Tammy Saracen moves into fourth, and Melinda McLaughlin, after running first place for the first few laps, drops all the way down to fifth place.
That's a big change. That just shows you how quickly things can change once you lose your focus. Talk about focus, though. This woman out in front, most dominating woman in the history of the sport, out in front once again and making it look easy.
Looking very comfortable. Again, she's got some smooth water now, but she'll have to deal with some lap riders coming up here pretty quick as she keeps on the gas, and I think she's going to probably want to distance herself from that woman, Michelle Baines, who was our winner last week, because she probably has in mind of beating Christy again.
Well, coming into the pro class, it's been an impressive ride already for Michelle Baines. Third place rider, Jill Orton. Now, another impressive ride last year, Lake Havasu, if you remember right, she was a surprise winner there, surprised, including herself. She won an extra lap, didn't even know she'd won the thing. So it was a comical win for her, but a confidence booster as well.
Exactly, and it does great things for the sport. Christy Carlson, longtime dominator, now has a few thorns in her side as she has to look back at a fine cadre of riders pushing her every race as we watched last week. But right now, Christy Carlson, the world and national champion, looks great. She looks like she's very much in control of this tight race.
Much more so than she did last weekend. Last weekend she seemed to be struggling with her machine. This weekend she looks right at home, and on this course, as tight as it is, it's getting very choppy out there. And look at Christy, she's extremely smooth.
And meanwhile, we have some great action for fifth place. Melinda McLaughlin trying to hold off Tara Lejo. It doesn't look like she's going to get it dead as Tara Lejo takes her on the outside, gives a little more gas, and it looks like Melinda McLaughlin, Larry, is having all kinds of problems. When it rains, it pours. She goes from first to sixth place.
Melinda has had her cage rattled. I don't know if it's fatigue from the thin air or whether it's some kind of mechanical problem with the machine, but she does not look comfortable with what she's doing right now.
So Tara Lejo will move into the fifth position as we get a look at Michelle Baines, currently running in second place. But right now, all eyes are on the world and national champion, and she is that for this reason. Christy Carlson leading this course as she brings it down the last few turns. She looks strong. Fatigue not a factor for the California today as she brings it down home to the checkered flag, and Larry, she really was dialed in today.
Well, it was a strong ride by Christy and a convincing win, and I think she needed a confidence booster right now.
Christy Carlson, winner of the Prime Cup final, and again, you said it, a confidence booster for her after a terrible week last week. Christy Carlson back on top of things as we watch Michelle Baines bring in the rest of the crowd. She takes second place. Not bad for her, coupled with last week's. That'll keep her atop the standings board. In third place, it is Jill Orton, last year's world champion. She takes third place, followed by Tammy Saracen and Tara Lejo, who just edged out Melinda McLaughlin. Well, there's our final results. Carlson, Baines, Orton, Saracen, and Lejo. And while we have a break in the action, it's time for this week's Tips on Technique.
Today we're going to take a look at passing, the outside pass. This can be a risky move, but it can be very effective. The risk involved is that you must depend on the rider on the inside of you to hold their line. The advantage, though, is that with an outside pass you carry a lot of momentum, and more often than not, the next turn you are positioned on the inside. Here's a great example of that. On the left side of the screen, Michelle Baines. On the right side, Melinda McLaughlin. Michelle was on the outside there. She didn't get around her, but going into the next turn, she is on the inside. Now she has control. She makes the pass, and she can take a much better line up over the log jump and into the next turn.
Let's go down and meet our winner of the Prime Cup Women's Final, Christy Carlson.
Talk about how much better this feels now after the weekend you had last weekend.
Well, we got some of the mechanical bugs worked out since last weekend, and being in the middle or the back of the pack is definitely no fun. It's pretty chaotic. So this weekend I was really hoping for good starts. I felt more relaxed. Due to the altitude, we didn't have our skis tuned extremely well, but as well as the elements would allow. And I'm just really pleased to have a win this weekend. I know that you can't win them all, and you just have to take one race at a time, and it's a long tour, so the consistency of upper wins is what wins a championship. So it didn't work on my confidence too much, but it was a little bit of a setback.
You got to be a little happier now, though.
Definitely, I feel a lot better being in the front.
Well, all I can say is it must be the shoes. Results after 3 events. Christy Carlson leads, followed by Tara Lejo, Michelle Baines, Dawn Wood, and Tammy Saracen. When we come back, a sports class modified final.